everybody. I'm Lisa Brennan.
And I'm not Justin Trice.
You're not? Who are you?
No, I'm not. I am Lisa's big little brother, Jay Mangiello. Welcome to Crime of the Arts,
a true crime podcast that peeks behind the curtain to shine a light on the dark and untold truths of the creative arts.
From Wow, I already messed up. Bring Justin back. From film set mysteries to celebrity murders and art heists, these two theater nerds will usher you into the unknown. Unknown.
This week, I'm going to tell you the story about the unraveling of Rihanna and Chris Brown.
And this week, I'm going to tell you about the cursed film set of the movie The Omen.
Nice. That's been on the list for a while.
Yeah.
So what is up, my brother? How are you?
Good. I'm excited to be joining you.
Well, thank you for filling in. Justin, Justin, as everyone who listens knows, Justin is a flight attendant. And he is on vacation after all of the crazy Christmas lunacy of being a flight attendant.
Yep.
And he's like, oh, I think me and Peyton are just going to go to Hawaii. I'm like, oh, just going to go to Hawaii? Cool. So jealous.
Good for him.
Yeah. Well, and then he puts a poll up on his Instagram, like, where do you think we're going? And it's like 4 options. And I'm like, I know the answer, Hawaii. And I hit it and it's like, Rome, Italy. So I text him. I'm like, where the fuck are you going? He's like, oh, it was raining in Hawaii this week. So we decided to go to Rome. I was like, would you just fuck right off, please?
Yeah.
Totally ridiculous. So Justin, Rome, Italy, if you can hear me, fuck right off.
Yeah. Enjoy the food and we will live vicariously through you.
Drink so much wine.
We're the Italian ones. Why aren't we in Rome?
It's a really good question.
Yeah. That's what I'm wondering.
And actually, previously on a recorded episode that I recorded in your room that you're in now, I spoke about how awesome that dorkdom is that you have down there. And now everyone gets a little glimpse of your man cave full of cool stuff. Move your head.
If you're part of the Patreon.
Ooh.
For anyone listening, this is extremely uninteresting.
Yeah. Well, we might just put this out for everybody just because it's different.
Okay,
and everyone
fair enough.
can see it. But if you like what you're watching, you can head on over to the Patreon and subscribe to get our videos every week. You can go to patreon.com/Crime of the Arts podcast. And for $5 a month, you get a recording of whomever is in the studio every week when we do these episodes. This week, it happens to be me and Jay. And you get a card and you get some stickers, and that is the peek behind the curtain level. And then if you sign up for the $10 level, that is the Don't Do Crime Folks level. That is $10 a month, and you get all of the same things you do at the $5 level, plus you get abilities to win merch. We have hats and t-shirts that have come in and some stickers, and we're sending those out internationally. The way to get entered into that raffle is I'm going to put something up once it's time, but all you have to do is go on and give us a 5-star rating and review and just send me an email and say, hey, this is me. And we were going to pick a winner on both sides. And then maybe, we'll send some stickers out just for everyone who's made a review.
Damn.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Damn.
The hats say "Don't Do Crime, Folks" in really small white font. It's kind of hilarious.
Where's my hat?
It's coming in the mail for your special guest appearance.
Don't believe
it. And then
the
t-shirts are of our album cover with the stage and the crime scene tape and stuff. It's pretty cool.
Nice. That's awesome.
What else? Any other housekeeping? I don't think so. Oscar's at the door, per the usual.
I just found a binky in my pocket.
Welcome to Parenthood. Welcome to Parenthood, everyone.
Yeah.
I love how you know that you're like a boy mom when you just have little cars in your pockets. You're like, what is this? Oh, it's just a car. Hello, car.
Yep.
All right.
Cool.
Well, Oscar has broken in, so that's fine. We might have to hear him snoring, everyone. Oscar is here. So, do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
Whatever you want. I'm a guest. I'm just going for the ride here.
Comfortable with.
I'm comfortable with anything. It's just for the ride. You tell me.
Okay. Well, if you want to go first, normally Justin would go first.
Okay, then I'll go first.
Okay.
Great. On this week of Crime of the Arts, brother and sister bicker live for your enjoyment. Okay,
Perfect.
well, this is what I'm going to be talking about today. Let's see. I'm going to be telling you about the unsettling events that plagued the cast and crew of the 1976 film The Omen, leading many to believe that the set was indeed cursed by Satan himself.
Oh.
Satan.
Satan. So
does
wait,
not
when was
want
this? The
movie.
70s?
Yep, 1976.
Satanic Panic was like right at its prime, where
Yeah.
everyone thought the devil was in everything.
That's a great band name. Satanic Panic. Mr. Calling.
I'm sure it's somewhere.
It was
I didn't
actually-
make that up.
Oh, okay. Well,
That's a true
I've never
crime.
I've never heard that before.
Oh, really? Yeah. Oh,
Mhm.
yeah.
Cool. Well, the film was initially going to be released on June 6th, 1976, which would be 6/6/76, but it wasn't. It
Oh.
was actually released on June 25th, 1976.
That's not as exciting.
Nope. Not as cool at all. But I thought I'd throw it in there to let you know that they
It's great.
were going to be cooler, but they weren't. But it received mixed reviews from critics, but was a commercial success, grossing over $60 million in the U.S. box office and becoming one of the highest grossing films of 1976.
Wow. 60
Yeah.
million in 1976?
Yep. Well, it was riding the wave of The Exorcist
Okay.
and all of these movies at the time that just made people want to poop their pants.
Right.
So
Our dad literally left the movie theater from The Exorcist. You know
Really?
that story? Oh, yeah.
no, I've not heard that
Yeah,
story.
Dad went to go see The Exorcist, and he got through like the first 15 or 20 minutes and literally got up and left.
My dad, I can't imagine him being afraid of anything, but I guess if it would be
Right. Our
anything, it
dad
would
is
be
like-
Satan.
Our dad is like a giant Italian dude. He's like a retired firefighter, NYPD, everything you would, I mean, and FDNY, everything you would like imagine, like the mustache and like
Yes.
the attitude and the gobbledygoopy and the whatever. And then to think that he went into a movie theater and was afraid of this movie.
Yeah.
I mean, the devil is probably the only thing he's afraid of.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Right, that's true.
He's running to burning buildings for a living.
Our brother was building a motorcycle at one point, and we were in a motorcycle store for parts or whatever, and it was filled with just bikers. And then Dad walked in, and the whole room just stopped and stared at him, and he just went, "What's up, guys?" And everyone like took a deep breath of relief. That's our father, to be
Yeah.
afraid of like
in a
little
nutshell.
a little demon girl. That's clearly not real. Okay, cool. I didn't know that
Pea
story.
soup. Pea soup, Dad. It's pea soup.
Yep. So, if you don't know what The Omen is, it was a film directed by Richard Donner and written by David Seltzer. The film plot follows Damien Thorne, who's a young child replaced at birth by his father, unbeknownst to his wife, after their biological child dies shortly after birth. As a series of mysterious events and violent deaths occur around the family, and as Damien enters childhood, they learn that he is, in fact, the prophesized Antichrist.
His name is Damien.
Yes, there's a lot of hints they didn't pick up on.
I had a turtle that looked really pissed off that I had picked up out of the street once, and I named him Damien because he looked demonic. Yeah, so
The Antichrist turtle.
Yeah. So I have never seen this movie because I don't do scary shit.
Sure.
I've seen The Exorcist, but who hasn't seen The Exorcist?
Right.
But The Omen, I don't know. Maybe I'm just a wimp. But okay, so I had no idea that it was really completely about that.
Oh, yeah.
So he's replaced at birth by his father because his actual child dies.
His child dies.
Where the
and-
fuck did
yeah,
he get this child from? Do we know?
I'm not going to
Maybe-
lie. I've never seen the movie either.
Okay, fair enough.
But I've done enough research to know key plot points about the movie
Perfect.
for
That's all I
this
would have done if I
specific
did that story.
podcast. I'm not watching this movie. You guys are wild.
Okay, go ahead.
Anyway, I can tell you all about it. Yes, their child died, and a priest convinced him to take this child instead.
Okay,
Is
great.
what happened.
Thank God for the clergy.
Mm-hmm. So the idea for the film came about when an advertising executive named Bob Munger approached the film's producer, Harvey Bernhard, with an idea involving the Antichrist, obviously. But he pitched the concept with caution already, right? So he warned him that he thought that the devil didn't want him to make the picture if they were going to move forward with it. He said, and I quote, "If you make this movie, you're going to have some problems. If the devil's greatest single weapon is to be invisible, and you're going to do something which is going to take away his invisibility to millions of people, he's not going to want that to happen." And then Bernard recalled that the devil was at work and he did not want that film to be made.
What?
Yep.
So much foresight by this crazy person who thinks that this not real thing is real.
He's a born-again Christian, the person who came up with this idea. So, yep.
Wow.
So many things went wrong in the creation of this movie that when gathering this information, I had to order the events from just unfortunate to absolutely hauntingly tragic. Okay? So keep that in mind. We're starting on the bottom. Okay. So keep that in mind as I move on to what I have titled Multiple Lightning Strikes. That's where we're starting.
Good imagery.
Yeah. Okay. So you know how they say lightning doesn't strike twice in the same place?
It struck 27 times.
Not in the same place, but enough times where you go, what is going on here?
Okay.
Right. So Gregory Peck is the actor who played Robert Thorne, who's the father in that film.
Okay.
He was flying to his set in London when his plane was struck by lightning. Okay. Then a few weeks later, executive producer Mason Newfield was on a plane to Los Angeles for that flight that was also struck by lightning.
2 planes struck by lightning.
2 planes
with actors or whomever, people associated with this movie, struck by fucking lightning.
Yep. And Newfield said it was the roughest 5 minutes he's ever been on a commercial airline, and it was very, very scary.
Imagine that.
Oh yeah.
Jesus.
Who would not say that if your plane was
What
struck
the fuck happens when a plane gets struck by lightning? Does that happen a lot? I'm wondering.
I think it does happen a lot, but I don't know in the 70s what their tech was to like manage that. Right. But they lived, you know. Oh my God. So then screenwriter David Seltzer wrote an airplane that also got struck by lightning.
You shut the fuck up. A third person?
And there's more.
Are more people literally struck by lightning?
Well, Harvey Bernhard, the producer, again, narrowly escaped being struck by lightning himself, not in a plane, just him, while filming in Rome. Oh, so 4 different
literally
lightning
the devil
strikes.
is raining lightning down on these people for doing this.
Yes.
That's nuts.
And that's nothing to what happens later on in this.
Hold on, I have to go murder my dog. Hold, please. You hear him barking, right?
I hear him, yes.
Oh, God. Hey, Oscar!
Please hold while Lisa goes to shut up her dog Oscar, who cannot stop barking in the background. Here she comes.
How dare the UPS man come to my house?
That son of a bitch.
Hold on, I can't hear you.
Packages.
What? Say that again.
I said that son of a bitch bringing you packages.
All the 56,000 packages a day that I order. How dare he?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, go ahead.
So after Harvey Bernhard was almost struck by lightning in Rome, he decided to start carrying a cross with him on set. Yeah.
Oh, this is going to make me laugh a whole bunch, isn't it? Because none of this shit makes
it's not.
Any sense.
It gets so much more horrible than lightning strikes that you're not going to want to laugh at it.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay, we're moving on to the next thing that has plagued this set and the people who work on it. Explosions. Okay. While staying at the Hilton Hotel in London, who is this? Hold on one second. Newfield. I think this was. Let me go back. Hold on.
I hit my mic. Sorry, everyone.
Well, you're going to cut this out anyway. Let me find who this is.
Oh, shit.
I think it's a new, but I guess it's. Hold on one second.
Take your time. I'm just gonna be over here, being a hot mess, per the usual. Oh my God.
Hold on. Why can't I find it? Oh, okay, it is Newfield. This poor man.
So, okay.
I'll go back.
Newfield is who? Okay.
Mace Newfield. Mace Newfield is the executive producer of the film. Okay. So while Mace Newfield and his wife were staying at a Hilton hotel in London for the movie, they got an early checkout. And after that, the Irish Republican Army blew up their building.
Oh, God.
This is when the IRA was doing a ton of bombings all over Europe. And their building, the hotel they were staying in, exploded. They didn't die. They narrowly survived being exploded. And then several days later, Newfield and several other producers and Gregory Peck were headed to a restaurant that they made reservations in. And that blew up before they got there.
By who? By the IRA
The
too?
IRA. The IRA just blew up all these buildings.
God.
Yeah, I mean, it's not necessarily a curse because it was the IRA.
You
but
coincidentally happen to be heading to 2 buildings or out of 2 buildings that have exploded in a short period of time. I've never left a building that exploded. Have you? I'm 36,
Nope.
35.
Right. I mean, regardless, like these people have all narrowly avoided death in multiple different ways.
It's like what's that fucking movie?
Final Destination?
Final Destination.
Yep.
Omen style.
Yep. Omen style. Okay, hold on. Let's see. It's got so much darker. There we go. Okay, so yeah, right. Final Destination style. So as Newfield recalled in the Omen Curse or Coincidence, there's a special they made because just so many things happened.
Right.
He said, we were in the midst of the IRA bombings all over London. We had reservations at a restaurant an hour before it was blown up. And then the subway station was blown up as we were walking towards it. So it was just like so many different occurrences of explosions that they narrowly avoided.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And again, this is level 2 of horrible things that have happened on the set of The Omen. Okay.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
You ready for this next part?
Uh-huh. We have lightning. We have explosions.
Lightnings, explosions. It's going to sound like a downgrade. It actually might be a downgrade. Maybe this should have been higher up on the list, but it doesn't matter. Dogs attack. Okay.
Oh, that might be. I don't know. That sounds like someone's worst nightmare.
Right. The other one was narrowly avoiding pain and whatever. There's some issues here. Right?
Okay. Actual action.
There's a scene in the movie where Gregory Peck goes to the gravesite of the mother of the Antichrist's mother.
Hold on, your camera's going a little wonky.
How about now?
Okay.
Maybe I was leaning on the desk.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
there's
Italian
a scene.
talking with your
Hey,
hands.
how you doing? There's a scene in this movie, right? There's a scene in the movie where Gregory Peck, his character Robert Thorne, goes to the gravesite of the Antichrist's mother because he didn't know who his mom was. They just gave him this kid. Right,
okay, but he finds out who the mother is?
Yeah.
Okay, and he goes to her gravesite.
He goes to her gravesite, and in their gravesite, this is a spoiler, by the way. I don't know if anyone cares about this movie.
Nope.
They dig up the mother's grave, and in the coffin is a jackal.
The fuck is a jackal? What do you mean? Like an animal?
Like a monster, like a jackal, yeah.
Oh. And not the lady.
Not a woman.
Okay.
Because he's the Antichrist. So he.
Okay.
And then next to that gravesite was a gravesite for a child. And it's a skeleton of a little child whose skull was smashed open. And you later find out that that was Robert Thorne's original child, who the Antichrist killed to take his place.
Oh my God.
This is like towards the end of the movie.
Oh my
so you're
God.
like learning all these horrible things.
Bizarre.
Yeah, it's demented. But so in that scene, while they're uncovering that stuff, they get chased out of the cemetery by a bunch of rabid Rottweilers. Right. So that's the film. But what happened was, so these Rottweilers are obviously trained, right? They're film Rottweilers that they were going to use that have a trainer, that they learn how to do these things and they don't harm anyone. So instead of Gregory Peck, who was getting attacked by the dogs, I had a stuntman in all the suit with all the padding and everything. But for some reason, when they went to film this, the dogs actually attacked the stuntman and were not listening to their trainer whatsoever, despite that they're trained to do this.
Hellhounds. They turned into hellhounds?
Yes.
Oh.
And they ripped this guy apart and like seriously hurt him.
Oh my God, Jay.
Yep. I know, this movie's insane. These stories are more interesting. Like the fact that all of this happened.
Could you
for this
imagine
movie.
being someone on the set of this film and just being like, okay, how much worse is it going to get? Like,
How much am I being paid to be on this set?
Is this worth my possible life?
Uh-huh. Is Satan going to hate me forever?
I'm going to be haunted forever by the devil.
Yeah.
For doing this movie.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, on to the next one.
On to the
next level.
Next level of hell. Here we go.
Yep. Yeah, the Rings of Hell. But I don't know how many I have here.
This.
We should have called it that, yep. Okay, so this one does have a few different reports on what happened. But I'm going to give you a conglomerate of all the different things that I found.
Perfect.
Okay, so apparently the film was scheduled to use a plane for some reason. Why they needed the plane is not clear, whether it was for, some say, aerial shots in the film, some say to transport cast and crew. But regardless, in the last minute change of plans, the aircraft they were slated to fly out of was rescheduled. So they gave that plane to a bunch of businessmen instead. So they said, sorry, you can't use that plane. When that plane took off, it hit a flock of birds and crashed onto a car, and everyone in the plane died.
Holy shit.
Including the pilot's wife and kids. Some reports say the wife and kids were in the car that the plane crashed onto.
You shut the fuck up. No, they were not. Jason.
I know.
Oh my God.
This movie's crazy.
This is insane. So the plane that they were, I just wanted to recap, make sure I'm understanding.
Recap. Yep.
The plane they were supposed to be taking, the company they took it and gave it to someone else for whatever reason.
Yep.
And a bunch of businessmen got on that plane.
Yep.
And that plane hit a flock of fucking birds.
Yep.
And crashed into a car. And potentially in that car was the pilot's wife and child, and everyone fucking died.
Every single person died on that plane.
What about the people in the car?
Dead, of course, yeah.
Everyone's dead.
Yeah.
Oh my fucking God. What are the chances of that?
And this is just later. Like, they've already been lightning strikes and dog attacks and all these things, and then
that would have been the time that I would have been like, and I'm fucking out.
And this is
Peace
it.
out.
See you later.
The
Good
devil
luck with
struck
this movie.
and it missed us by a fucking hair.
Yep.
And I'm out.
And there's more.
Okay.
This
and
isn't even it.
More.
This isn't even it. It gets worse.
How many are there? Are there 7
There's
rings
2
of hell
more.
in your story?
Let's see. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
6. Okay.
Yeah, 6. And I could add a 7th, technically. But it's not really related to the film.
That's fine.
The 7th, I'll just cut it in here because it's not as cool or interesting. But
okay.
Gregory Peck, the main actor, to preset this whole film, his son actually killed himself 2 months prior to filming the movie.
Oh my God! Yeah,
and his agent
and
said
he had already agreed to do this movie.
I don't know if he already agreed to it or not, but his
2 months
agent
before
used that as like saying you should channel this into this movie, which is horrible because this movie is about
that's a dead
that person's
child.
son dying and then taking the Antichrist. Yeah, it's like not
Jay,
an appropriate.
That's accurate. That fits in there.
Yeah, that's one of them.
So we do have the Omen and the 7 Rings of Hell in this story. That's what this is going to be titled.
There it is.
Okay.
Yeah, that's like before the movie even started. That like started the curse for this movie. Yeah, it's wild.
Oh,
okay.
Man. Okay.
On to the next one. In the scene, there's another. I'm sorry. In the movie, there's another scene where they take the son, the husband and the wife take the son to the zoo, and baboons start attacking the car and going crazy because the kid is in the car, and the kid is just smiling and whatever because he's the Antichrist. So to film this scene, they obviously had to have someone on the crew who would, make sure that all the baboons and everyone would be safe when filming this scene, right?
Not also run over by cars and stuff?
No, just a fun tidbit. Also, in order to make the baboons go crazy on the car, they put a baboon in the back seat of the car and had other baboons outside the car freaking out at that baboon in the car.
Really?
Yeah, and nothing happened from that. Thank God. But like that alone is like, what are you doing with this?
What are you thinking, sir?
Yeah.
And then, was there a person driving the car with the baboon inside of it?
Yes, the mother in the film who's genuinely freaking out. Like it looks like she's acting terrified, but she literally was terrified because there was a live baboon in the back seat of this car, and with other baboons viciously slamming the car. So have you ever gone to like a zoo where you drive through the zoo
Safari,
and it's like
yeah.
safe animals? It's like an
Yeah.
ostrich comes up and like tries to peck your hand.
Yes.
That's terrifying, right?
It is. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you're like, that's a fucking dinosaur.
Yeah. And you're like, why did I do this? This is a horrible idea. They're getting into my car and like licking my face.
Bringing my child.
Yeah. You start off, you're like, oh, this is going to be great. And you're like, whoa, look at that like camel. And you're like, oh, here it comes. Oh, it's really coming close. Oh,
It's
okay. All right.
humongous
All right.
and
Roll
disgusting.
the window. Roll up the window. Yeah. So picture that with rabid baboons attacking your car.
Are they the ones with the naked asses?
That's a baboon. Yeah.
Can they be that in my head?
Unless
The
they have
naked
pants
ass
on.
baboons?
Don't all monkeys have naked asses?
Yeah. I don't know. No, all monkeys do not have naked asses.
You mean naked as in like no hair on the ass? That's a bare ass. They're all naked.
Touche.
Unless you're in the circus, all monkeys are naked.
I hate you. Yes,
I know.
That's fine.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
my
but that is a
God.
baboon. Baboons just have, big red asses.
Okay. Just like Rafiki, like smashing this car.
Exactly. Squash banana.
Oh my God, I'm dying.
Cool.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Just like the people in this film. Okay, so that's not even the thing. That's not even the curse.
Okay, hold pause for 1 second. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah.
Oscar! Come on, you peed in my ass. You broke me. You broke me
Just
with the
dying.
fluids in the pants. Oh, fuck me.
All right. You good?
Please. Nope.
Okay.
Aren't all baboons naked? I'm still crying. Okay.
All right. You ready?
I'm ready for the thing. What happened?
Okay, so the trainer that they had on set to help with these baboons, right? The day after filming that scene was mauled and killed by a tiger. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, this
In
is
the
why
words
we
of-
don't do these things.
Yeah. In the words of the producer Harvey Bernhard, he was killed the day after we shot there. He was killed by a tiger. He grabbed him by his head and killed him instantly.
What? The tiger grabbed the man by his head and instantly killed him.
Yep.
Holy fucker.
I know.
That's crazy.
I know.
Oh my God. Okay.
It's
I
wild.
know. It's wild. Yes.
Literally. Animals. They're wild. Okay, this is the final ring of hell.
The final ring of hell.
The most disturbing part of the filming of The Omen.
Okay.
It didn't happen while filming, but the coincidence of what occurs is extremely haunting and terrifying.
Okay.
Okay. In The Omen, there is a scene where Robert Thorne is driving in a car with journalist and photographer Keith Jennings.
Okay.
Keith Jennings took a photo. It's in the film. He basically he's trying to help Robert Thorne discover what's happening because he took photos. In the beginning of the movie, their nanny hangs herself at the kid's 5th birthday party.
Great.
And this journalist takes pictures of it, and there's like, he starts seeing things in the photographs, like demons and stuff. So he tries to help Robert Thorne discover what's happening in the film.
You're Italian handing and your camera's shaking again.
God damn it.
Yeah.
Hey. I didn't think I did that, but it's clear I do.
Yeah. This is a mirror, buddy.
Nothing
You're
I
going to
can-
find all the
nothing I
things
can
that
do
you
about it.
wish you didn't know about
Yep.
yourself.
Here I go. Italian hand gesturing. Okay, so in the scene, they're driving in a car after discovering the cemetery, all this other stuff, and he's going to go back to basically confront what's happening. A sheet of glass falls off the back of a truck and hits the car and decapitates Keith Jennings, the character in the movie.
In the movie. Okay.
Yeah, in the movie.
Okay.
Okay. So when filming this scene, obviously you need special effects to film that scene. It was designed by someone named John Richardson, who created the effect for that scene, the decapitation by glass sheet scene. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
After the movie came out, months after, Richardson began working on a different film called A Bridge Too Far. And he was on location in Holland, and he was driving with his wife and special effects sculptress, Liz Moore. And they were driving along an empty road, and one night they hit another car head on. Richardson was knocked unconscious, but Moore was decapitated when one of the front wheels tore through the floor and hit her and killed her. So
the sculptress,
his fiance or wife, that is also unclear. Girlfriend, they were an item.
Okay,
they were driving together. Yes, the woman that the designer who made the special effects for the decapitation scene was driving with his fiance or wife, and she was decapitated in a car in pretty much the same exact way, outside of it being glass or whatever, but like driving in a car and the passenger's decapitated while the driver survives.
Have you ever heard of a tire coming through the bottom of a car into the car? I've never heard of that before.
I don't. Yeah. And what's even crazier is that when he came to after the crash, he looked around and obviously saw the horrifying like coincidence of how similar it was to what he filmed. And he claims that at the crash site, he got out and saw a street sign that said 66.6 kilometers to the town of Omen, with 2 M's in Omen.
What?
Yep.
Oh my God, Jay.
I know.
Could it be real?
No. But who knows? I mean, there's just way too many things that to not. That's why this is covered so often, is because there's so many things that are like, this has to be.
It's interesting because you have a lot of these kinds of scenarios. I think in a previous episode we talked about, I talked about the Wizard of Oz and like all the crazy shit that happened on that set, and it was like it was cursed, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then we talked about plays, like being in theater and doing all these shows. Sometimes you just have a show that's a fucking mess.
Yeah.
And it's like it's haunted from the beginning to the end, the whole time you've had it. You got to pray that there's an actual final curtain call. Otherwise, that theater's just fucked forever.
Right.
And and this is not every movie and not every play. Like, what is it about these scenarios that wild things like this happen where they just continually occur and you're like, there's too much coincidence here?
Yeah. I don't know.
It's so crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not a religious person, but that stuff, that's a lot.
It's a lot.
That's a lot of things to happen on like a film focused around this specific topic. You know, it's very interesting. I wonder if they had
stuff like that on The Exorcist or any of these Exorcist movies. You know, they've put out like a million of them.
Yeah, there's been a bunch of more Omen ones as well.
of Emily Rose and whatever, blah, blah, blah. I wonder about that. I know that there's, and I'll probably cover it sometime, but there's a lot that happened on the set. I almost said Jesus Christ Superstar. That's a play. of the, I think it was a Bruce Willis movie. The Jesus Christ movie. I think it was just called Christ or something like that.
I have no idea.
But similarly, they saw a lot of instances of crap that was happening that you're like, oh my God, is this related to the God smiting us for making a movie about him? You know, like whatever it is.
Yep.
And people take it very seriously.
I think the creators of this movie got a ton of letters in the mail too. Just like, you're going to burn in hell for this. Yeah.
It's interesting to me that a person who is a born again Christian, Jehovah's Witness, I don't remember which one you said.
I think Christian. Okay,
born again Christian, wanted to make a movie about the devil. Like, this isn't like about Christianity fighting the devil, or like it's about the things that are happening that have to do with demonic babies.
Yeah,
it's just a strange turn of events.
Maybe he made it as like a forewarning. That it's possible
maybe that's how we saw
Satan is walking among us, or I don't know. But all of those various things are the reason why this is deemed one of the most cursed films to be created. Yeah,
easily.
Crazy stuff.
Easily.
Yep.
Oh my God.
So that's the story of The Omen.
And the Seven Rings of Hell.
And the Seven Rings of Hell.
There it is.
Yeah.
I love it when we find titles to stories in the middle of telling them.
Yeah.
Freaking cool.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jay.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I loved that. Thank you so much for being here. Okay, so my story, like I said, is about the unraveling of Rihanna and Chris Brown.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to, from the very top, give you trigger warning, trigger warning, trigger warning to domestic violence. I have a lot of details in here, and it's can get a little hairy.
Okay.
Lack of a better term.
Of course, yeah.
So
It's a serious subject.
Serious, very serious subject, yeah. So almost 13 years ago, in like 2 weeks, it'll be 13 years. The music world and pop culture enthusiasts everywhere awoke to the news that neither Chris Brown nor Rihanna would be donning the red carpet the evening of the Grammys.
Yeah.
Do you remember when this happened?
I do remember that, yeah.
Me too.
Because
and I
no one really
thinking,
knew
like,
why they
wild.
were there.
Right.
Yeah, no one knew why they were not there.
Well, they
And
were
it
at like
was-
the height of their careers, essentially. So Chris Brown was a very promising young superstar, and he had been arrested early that morning from having an altercation in a rented Lamborghini with his girlfriend, Rihanna.
It was rented?
It was a rented Lamborghini.
That's hilarious.
Pretty lame, right?
Yeah, that
What a
makes him
lame
so
car to
much
rent.
less cool. That he doesn't own that Lamborghini. He's like, I'm going to rent a Lamborghini to look cool at the red
Like,
carpet.
you're just a tool bag. Lamborghinis are lame. Anyway, so Rihanna was equally incapacitated. She had a face that was bruised and bloody from a vicious attack. So, as we do on this podcast, I'm going to give you a little bit of backstory.
Mm-hmm.
My notes say bag story, just so everyone knows. So that totally threw me off just now.
Little
But
bag
a
story.
little bit of backstory on the two people in this horrific event. So Robin Rihanna Fenty was born February 20th, 1988. She is a Barbadian singer, actress, and businesswoman. She's a fucking boss.
Yeah.
She was born in St. Michael and raised in Bridgetown, Barbados. She's a daughter of an accountant named Monica and a warehouse supervisor named Ronald. And she has two brothers, two half-sisters, and a half-brother from her father's side. And they were each born with different mothers from previous relationships. So she grew up in a 3-bedroom bungalow in Bridgetown and sold clothes with her father in a stall on the street. Now, can you picture little Rihanna doing this? It's just, you never know what people's humble beginnings are and how they kind of shape them.
Yeah. I didn't know bungalows came in 3-roomed
Right?
varieties.
I thought that was kind of strange.
Yeah. Very specific.
Yes. So her childhood was deeply affected by her father's alcoholism and crack cocaine addiction, which contributed to her parents having a strained marriage. So her father used to physically abuse her mother, and Rihanna was actually the one in the family who would like kind of try to break up the fights, the physical fights. As a child, she had many CT scans for excruciating headaches that she suffered. And
Really?
the doctors even thought that it was a tumor because it was just that intense. But by the time she was 14, her parents had gotten divorced and her health began to improve. So it's, the stress of all of that was probably contributing to they never
Wow.
found anything, which is so sad. It just kind of gives you a real image of what preteen Rihanna was really going through.
Yeah. That's crazy.
So she auditioned for American record producer Evan Rogers, who invited her to the U.S. to record some demo tapes. And after signing with Def Jam in 2005, she soon gained recognition with the release of her first 2 studio albums, Music of the Sun and A Girl Like Me, both of which were influenced by Caribbean music. And they peaked within the top 10 of the U.S. Billboard Top 100 charts. And Rihanna has named Madonna as her idol and biggest influence. She said that she wanted to be the Black Madonna and praised her ability to reinvent herself throughout her career, which Rihanna has actually done, which is so freaking cool.
Yeah, I would argue that she's even beyond Madonna at this point.
Yeah, I think that that's a fair point.
I think she's sold more albums than anyone in
We'll
the
get
world. Oh.
So
Spoiler.
she's regarded by the media as a pop and fashion icon, particularly since her third album, Good Girl Gone Bad. And according to Rolling Stone, her single Umbrella is regarded as among the 500 greatest songs of all time. And her single We Found Love was ranked by Billboard as the 24th biggest Hot 100 hit of all time. And her single Work has been credited by Billboard editor for bringing the dancehall genre to the forefront of mainstream American music, which really is very European dancehall music. So, music critic Jason with a Y,
cool,
Green of Pitchfork described Rihanna as the most influential singer in the past decade. And I think
you
that's
go
fair.
Riri.
Yeah, you go Riri.
Yeah. Let's get Riri on the podcast. Call her up.
Right, I wish. Oh my god. So, character number 2, Christopher Maurice Brown, was born May 5th, 1989. I'm older than both of these people, and I didn't know that. And that makes my face hurt. He's an American singer-songwriter, dancer, and actor. He was raised in the small town of, please forgive me, Topanga, Virginia. Don't know if that's the right way to say it.
Virginia.
Yes, we'll just go with that. Topanga. Virginia. His mother is named Joyce, and she used to be a daycare center director. And his father is Clinton Brown, who's a corrections officer at a local prison, and he has a sister. So music was always present in Brown's life, beginning all the way back to his childhood. He would listen to soul albums with his parents and eventually began to show interest in the hip-hop scene. And he taught himself to sing and dance at a young age and often cites Michael Jackson as his inspiration, which is pretty clear.
Yeah.
He began to perform in his church choir and several local talent shows. When he mimicked an Usher performance of My Way, his mother recognized his vocal talent, and they began looking for an opportunity for a record deal. At the same time, Brown was going through some personal issues. His parents had gotten divorced, and his mother's boyfriend terrified him because he beat the shit out of his mother. Oh. So that's both sides of their childhood are peppered with domestic violence. And I feel like that's something important to talk about here.
You would think that would deter them from.
Well, you are a subject of your
past
trauma. And you can either be one way or the other. You can be cyclical and repeat the cycle, or you could break it, you know?
Yeah.
So at 13, Brown was discovered by Hit Mission Records, a local production team that visited his father's gas station while searching for new talent. No one gets picked up in a gas station anymore. You know what I mean?
That story is not true. Don't believe that for a second.
Lies.
Listen here, we got to find new talent. Let's drive around the gas stations and see what we find.
Around.
We need to find the next star. Let's drive around Virginian gas stations. We'll find him. No way.
Listen to this.
Go on.
This is what kills me. So Hit Mission's Lamont Fleming provided voice coaching for Brown, and the team helped to arrange a demo package under the name of C Sizzle. That was going to be his name. C Sizzle. This must have been in the For Shizzle My Nizzle stage of life.
That should have been his name. Way better.
C Sizzle.
C Sizzle.
C. Sizzle.
Great. I prefer that to Chris Brown.
Okay, so Fleming approached contacts in New York where Brown started to sojourn and seek a record deal. And according to Billboard, Brown is one of the most successful R&B singers of his generation, often being referred to by many as the contemporaries. Having often been referred to by many contemporaries as the king of R&B. He's gained a cult following and wide comparisons to Michael Jackson for his stage presence, which I could see.
Yeah.
Michael Jackson's influenced everyone. Usher, Justin Bieber.
Anyone who does a walk that doesn't look human has been influenced by Michael Jackson.
Fair enough. So in 2004, he signed with Jive Records and released a self-titled debut studio album the following year, which was later hit triple platinum. Everyone loved him. He sold over 197 million records worldwide.
Wow.
Making him one of the world's best-selling music artists. And he is one of the highest-grossing African-American touring artists of all time.
Still.
Still to this day. And I remember when Chris Brown came on the scene, and I loved all of his music.
Yeah.
And then this
what was his first song?
Run It? Was it Run It?
I think so.
Run it, see you can't run it. Yeah, sorry, I might cut that.
That did not help me know the song at all.
Okay, so
all I know with him is the double mint gum song. Double your pleasure,
double your fun. I mean,
our album's going to come out next week.
There it is.
Chris Brown cover. It's by two white Italian siblings. It's going to hit multi-platinum.
Oh, we're going to be triple platinum.
Triple platinum?
Yeah. So the crowned prince and princess of R&B, 19-year-old Brown and 20-year-old Rihanna, were one of the most adorable young couples in the music industry. And each one of them were slated to perform at that 2009 Grammy.
That's why it was even weirder that they weren't there.
Right.
Yeah.
2 artists didn't perform. What the fuck did they do at the time that they had set for that? Rihanna was actually a triple nominee and was primed to sing with Justin Timberlake, while Brown was up for 2 awards and was set to belt out his hit Forever. And they were ready to make a big statement. Instead, everything unraveled.
Oh, damn.
Flashback to the evening of Saturday, February 7th, 2009. Where were you? Do you remember?
Ooh, 2009. I was a senior in high school, so I have no idea what I was doing that exact
Probably sitting
day.
in your room playing video games. Cool.
Probably.
Chris Brown and Rihanna had been dating for a year and a half, and they were in Brown's rented Lamborghini, driving home from a pre-Grammy party that was thrown by Clive Davis. And while at the party, a woman approached the couple, and we come to find out that this woman is actually someone that Brown had a previous sexual relationship with at the beginning of their relationship.
At the beginning of Rihanna and Chris Brown's relationship?
Yes.
So he cheated on her.
Yes.
With this lady.
And this lady had the fucking balls to walk up to them at a party. Okay. Obviously, that was very upsetting to Rihanna.
Sure.
So after the party at around 12:30 that night, they were driving home. And Rihanna was in the front passenger seat. There's only 2 fucking seats in a Lamborghini. I don't know why they made that.
Rihanna was in the trunk.
And they were now. This is an account that I'm going to give you right now. I pulled directly from the police report.
Wow.
So it's very detailed. Trigger warnings from here on out. So 12:30, Brown's driving a vehicle with Rihanna in the front passenger seat on a street in Los Angeles, and Rihanna picked up Chris Brown's cell phone, and observed a 3-page text message from a woman that they just saw at this party that he's known to have had a previous relationship with. And a verbal argument ensued. So Brown pulled the vehicle over. He reached over Rihanna with his right hand, opening the car door and attempting to push her out of the car.
Into the road.
He pulled over on the side of the street. So he just wanted her out of his car.
Yeah. The side of the road.
He was unable to get her out because she had her seatbelt on. So when he could not force her to exit the vehicle, he took his right hand and shoved her head against the passenger window of the vehicle, causing a 1-inch raised circular contusion on her face. So Rihanna turned to face Brown, and he punched her in the left eye with his right hand. He then drove away in the vehicle and continued to punch her in the face with his right hand while steering the vehicle with his left hand. I'm probably going to start yelling soon because I'm already
infuriating
really mad.
to listen to. I have to just sit here and listen to this.
Welcome to Crime of the Off.
Yeah, it's horrible.
So, the assault caused Rihanna's mouth to actually fill up with blood and splatter all over her clothes and the interior of the car. And Brown looked at Rihanna and he stated, and I quote, "I'm going to beat the shit out of you when we get home. Wait and see."
Jesus.
And to me, this is not like, there's too much happening here to be the first time that this has ever occurred. Maybe to this extent is new, but this
Violence
placing your
to
hands
some
on
degree.
anyone, especially to this amount of violence, is this is not the first time you've done that.
Right.
So Rihanna picked up her phone and she called her assistant, Jennifer, but Jennifer didn't answer. But while the voicemail greeting was playing, Rihanna pretended to talk to her and said, I'm on my way home. Make sure the cops are there when I get there. So that statement was made while the greeting was playing, like, hey, you've reached Jennifer. Leave me a message. So it was not captured on her voicemail, but this is what Rihanna told the cops. And after she faked the call, Brown looked at her and stated, you just did the stupidest thing ever. Now I'm really going to kill you.
Jesus.
These are quotes that she gave the police.
Why would she fake it, though?
I think she's faking the call because she's scared. Like, she's desperate to get someone to help her. Wouldn't she know that would anger
him more?
Well, she thought she was going to get her friend on the phone, what she was hoping. But she's thinking probably, he just said he was going to beat the shit out of her when they got home.
Oh,
so she called her assistant and was like, hey, get the cops there before I get there. Right, to scare him into not... I mean, this story could have been a totally different way, and he could have fucking killed her.
Yeah.
Honestly, when you hear all the things that have happened. So... after Rihanna faked the call, he said that he was going to kill her. And
also, sorry to cut in. Maybe she did that because in these types of relationships, you don't necessarily know, you don't want to do anything to really hurt that person. It's sometimes a one-sided type of a thing.
Right.
So she wouldn't really want to call the cops to really get him in trouble, but she wanted him to stop.
Right. She just wanted to scare him enough.
So she said that as a way to, make him hopefully stop without any other ramifications for Chris Brown.
Well, the opposite happened. He continued to punch her in the car, and she interlocked her fingers behind her head and brought her elbows forward to protect her face. And then she bent over at the waist, placing her elbows and her face in her lap in an attempt to protect herself from the barrage of punches being levied on her by Chris Brown. Like, there's so much, you could see it.
Yeah.
So much detail. It's sad that she knew to do that. Like, that's a very specific deflection or defense move. Right. So he continued to punch her still on her arms and her hands, causing her to suffer more contusions to her tricep and approximately 2 inches in diameter and numerous contusions to her hand. So she attempted to send a text message to her other personal assistant, Melissa, but Brown snatched the phone out of her hand and threw it out the fucking window. So, like, she's just constantly looking for help. How is this dog so loud? I'm never going to be able to edit him out. Hold on a second. Hold, please. To eject my dog from my recording studio. Hey, Bubba, can you go out? Go, baby, go. Go. Thank you. Okay. Okay, so where did I leave off? Threw her phone out the window. Right, so what I'm seeing here is, like, her desperation.
Yeah.
To get herself some assistance or help or feel safe or anything. Pretty much anything. So he continued to drive, and then she looked over and saw that his phone was sitting in his lap. So she picked up his phone, probably thinking, like, I'm going to die when I get home if I don't get someone to fucking help me.
Yeah.
The amount of desperation it takes to take his phone was really telling to me. So she grabbed it with her left hand, and before she could make a call, he placed her in a headlock with his right arm and continued to drive the car with his left hand. He pulled Rihanna close to him, and he bit her on the ear.
What the hell?
And she was able to feel the vehicle swerving left and right as he sped away. So he stopped the vehicle, and Rihanna turned off the car and removed the keys from the ignition and sat on them. Which, in today's, world, that wouldn't even work.
No.
You'd have buttons for everything.
That's true.
But Brown did not know what she did with the keys, so he began punching her in the face and the arms again. He then placed her in a headlock, positioning the front of her throat between his bicep and his forearm, and he began applying pressure to her left and right carotid arteries, causing her to be unable to breathe. And she began to lose consciousness. So she reached up with her left hand and began attempting to gouge his eyes out in an attempt to free herself. Brown bit her left ring finger and middle fingers and then released her. And while Brown continued to punch her, she turned around and placed her back against the passenger door and brought her knees to her chest and placed her feet against his body and began pushing him away to the other side of the car. And he continued to punch her in the legs and feet, causing several contusions. And she began screaming for help, and Chris Brown exited the vehicle and walked away. And a resident in the neighborhood that they were pulled over in heard her crying for help and called 911, causing a police response.
Wow. So if that person didn't call, then who knows?
I'm telling you, he could have fucking killed her.
Yeah.
He really could have. This is highly violent. There is no end to what is happening here except for this.
Yeah.
Or death.
Wow.
So the investigation was conducted and Rihanna was issued a domestic violence emergency protective order. And at approximately 1 a.m., Chris Brown called Rihanna's assistant Melissa as if nothing had happened. And he was trying to figure out where she was. He left. He got out of the car and left.
This is the same night?
Same night, 1 a.m.
Wow.
This is within a half an hour, all of this madness happened.
Wow.
So she advised Chris Brown that she had already talked to Rihanna and was aware of what had happened, and that the neighbors called the police and that they were already there with her. And he asked if Rihanna had provided the police with his name, and she told him that she had. What the fuck else was she going to say? I was robbed in my boyfriend's Lamborghini. It's just ridiculous. So, yeah, he hung up the phone and did not call back. Didn't answer anything, nothing. So he's gone. The cops are at the scene with her, and he pieced out. So
how is this person still, like, allowed to be?
We're going to talk about that.
This is just ridiculous.
So on February 8th, 2009, which was the following day, at 7 p.m., the Grammys were currently happening, Chris Brown surrendered himself to the police and was arrested for a 422 PC criminal threats. Now, I am not a lawyer, and neither are you, so I looked up what the fuck that was.
Yeah.
This section makes it a crime to threaten another person with immediate harm when you intend to, and in fact do, cause reasonable and sustained fear in that individual. It used to be like a terroristic threat, is what they used to call it, but now it's a criminal threat.
So that was when he said, I'm going to kill you, while beating the shit out of her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Chris Brown was given a copy of the emergency protective order and advised not to contact Rihanna, but he just couldn't fucking help himself and had to violate that order. 10 days after he was given that protective order, February 17th, Rihanna received a text message from his phone, and in the text, he apologized for what he had done and advised that he was going to get some help. So there's actually a documentary that came out about Chris Brown. And like, this is one of the biggest things that has happened in his career, this assault in his life, probably, but for sure in like his public image. And in this documentary, he actually has the audacity to try to tell his side of the story.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Get out of here.
So me telling you these quotes is not to give him a voice, because fuck him. He's not the victim in this story.
Nope.
Not to say that domestic abuse doesn't happen to men. Of course it does, but that's another issue that isn't spoken about very much.
Just clearly not what happened in this scenario.
But I just want to put the caveat out there.
Yeah.
I know female on male domestic violence occurs. That is not what this story is.
No.
So you need to hear how he describes the situation that I just told you from his words.
I don't want to hear anything from this piece of shit.
I don't know how he's continued to have fame and that anyone fucking gives him a pass on this, because just listen.
Yeah, it's infuriating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Is your head on fire? Because my head's on fire.
Yeah.
So he said, and I quote, "She starts going off. She throws the phone and said, 'I hate you.' And she starts hitting me. And we're in a little Lamborghini and she's fighting me. And I'm like, look, I'm telling you the truth. I swear. And she hits me a couple more times, and it doesn't go from translation to let's sit down. I'm telling you the truth. It goes to now I'm going to be mean, be evil. Like, I remember she tried to kick me, just like her beating shit. And then I really hit her with a closed fist. Like, I punched her and it busted her lip. And when I saw it, I was in shock. I was like, fuck, why did I hit her like that? So from there, she's spitting blood in my face, and it enraged me even more. and it's a real fight in the car and we're driving down the street. I'm sorry. You have supposedly enough, self-awareness to be like, why did I hit her like that? But then
Right,
you
exactly.
allowed yourself to be enraged even more.
Right, that's what I was going to say. You can't have both. You can't
Those are
have
not
the
the
self, reflection of what
Hindsight.
you just did and then go,
Hindsight.
oh no, why'd I do that? Oops, I keep doing
but
it.
I'm still on
I'm
fire and I'm going to
right.
beat the shit out of your face some more. So then the rapper says Rihanna grabbed his crotch while he was trying to get his phone. Rihanna grabbed his crotch while she was trying to get his phone from him. And in retaliation for that, he bit her because I was trying to drive, quote unquote.
It's a lot of excuses for various different forms of violence.
It's just a lot of bullshit. He's trying to fucking,
I just love there's no explanation for it, and he's trying to give reason to it. He's like, and then she went for my phone, so then I bit her.
Right. This is what he's been making up in his head the whole time. Right? This is years of him making all this shit up to explain to himself why he did these things, and then he's using it to explain it to the world. So he then attempts to redeem his state of mind by saying, I'm just trying to resolve the situation. I'm not trying to fight any further. I love her. I don't want to hurt my girlfriend.
This is in the documentary?
Yeah, this is quotes from the documentary.
This was said during the time, or this is after?
This is years later. Years later, they made a documentary about Chris Brown.
So he's referring to the past when he's saying
right
girlfriend.
Mm-hmm. So according to Brown, Rihanna got out of the car and started screaming, "Help me, he's trying to kill me." And I was like, stop, we're going to get in trouble. We are not going to get in trouble, sir.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to get in fucking trouble.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So the most disturbing part for me in Brown's retelling of his story is his violent responses as a result of Rihanna's actions.
Right.
Every recount begins with Rihanna did this.
Yeah. So then I bit her.
So then I did this, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Everything is her fault. It's so fucking typical of an abusive, narcissistic piece of shit.
Yeah.
And it's just not okay on 1,000 levels.
No, definitely not.
So the video for Brown's new documentary had actually been posted to Facebook and then deleted.
Good.
You can watch it if you want to. I can put the article that I pulled this information from has a link to the video in there. So you can go find it if you want to, but I don't want to give him a fucking minute of a view.
Right, exactly.
So he was charged with felony domestic assault. Ultimately, he pled guilty to 1 count of felony assault in a plea deal that avoided jail time in exchange for community service, counseling, and a restraining order and probation.
And he's a celebrity, so he gets it.
Of fucking course. As Justin would say, he is not at all held accountable. Where's the fucking accountability? If this was anybody else, he would be in prison for fucking 100%. Years.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's because he can do cool little moves with his leggies.
Thank you.
That's why. It's crazy. Right. It's not okay.
Well, money also helps, right? But so he was
money.
later.
It's not just the leggies.
It's not just those leggies. Those little feet.
Not just the little. Yeah. He's got money.
So he was later
so distracted by his leggies.
Right, his stupid leggies. They just
all right, get serious, would you?
All right, get it together, Lisa. Brown was later accused of violating his restraining order. Duh. But he also faked some of his community service.
Oh my God.
And was ordered to additional hours. He probably fucking paid someone to just sign off on a piece of paper.
It's me, Chris Brown.
Look at my leggies.
Hello, fellow. Yeah, he went on Craigslist and looked for someone who can do cool usher leg moves, and then said, "I'll pay you $1,000 to put this green hoodie on and stand on the side of the road and just dance while you're picking up garbage."
Perfect.
No one will know.
He didn't do anything like that.
No
community service.
No.
There was someone that we did. Oh God, I can't remember who it was now. That their community service was to make recordings, now those things. When the star shoots across the screen,
sure.
It's now that was their community service doing something like that. I was like, that's not fucking community service. So he was sentenced to 5 years of probation and 1 year of domestic violence counseling and 6 months of community service.
And that's
for
it.
pummeling Rihanna's face.
Yeah, if you haven't seen the pictures of Rihanna, go look them
Dude.
up. It's disturbing.
Those pictures are horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible. I remember when they came out the next day after they weren't, and everyone was like, what the fuck? And they weren't at the Grammys.
Yep.
And I was like, he literally beat
Yeah.
the fuck out of her.
Yeah. Really bad. It's really bad.
Oh my God. Please shut up, computer. So if you or someone you know feels affected by this story, head to lifeline.org.au, or free counseling is available at the National Sexual Assault Domestic Family Violence Counseling at 800-737-73. That's not the right phone number. I'll just put it in. If anyone feels affected by the story or needs to speak to someone regarding national sexual assault or any domestic family violence assault counseling, I have dropped the 800 number in our show notes. So you can head on over there to find some assistance. So since then, Chris Brown's dangerous history against women is never too far behind him, and it seems to never actually stall his career.
Mm-hmm.
In the years since that lenient initial sentence, Brown has been tied to a long list of alleged assaults and violent incidences. And I'm going to give you a little rundown.
Okay.
Do you have something to unpack?
No, I just don't want to hear him more.
Well,
but
it's
yes,
not,
I want to know more of how bad he
nothing,
is. So people know.
nothing meets the level of what he did to Rihanna.
Sure.
But it's always
does it have
him
to?
being a power move against a woman.
Yeah.
So 2 years after the charge of battery, Chris Brown sat down with Robin Roberts. Do you know who that is?
Nope.
She's was a host on Good Morning America.
Oh, okay.
And she asked Chris Brown multiple times questions about his domestic abuse case live on television. And he lost his fucking mind on her. And he stormed off the stage. He went into his dressing room, broke a window, and then was seen like in Times Square with no shirt on, like flipping the fuck out. This is 2 years after. So like nothing's changed, right?
He probably thought that was going to be
His redemption tour,
right? An opportunity to move on from it. But everyone's like,
every time he
"You're the
tried to
worst."
avoid it, she kept bringing it back up. And
Yeah.
like, good on you, being a good reporter or journalist,
Totally.
and, like, forcing the subject. So while attending a nightclub in Miami Beach, Chris Brown became upset when he noticed a woman taking a photo of him outside of a club. According to Crystal Shanae Span's police report, the singer had snatched the phone from her hands through her car window to avoid any photos being leaked to the tabloids, and then he drove off with it. He stole a woman's phone for taking pictures of him.
Mhm.
Like, you're a fucking celebrity. Get a grip. Or a
Yeah, I feel like
guard.
that has to have happened constantly.
So,
Like, as a celebrity, I mean, what?
yeah, of course it does.
Yeah.
And it pisses him off for the rest of his life because there's 2 more instances of something like that happening that I'm going to tell you about.
Because he's paranoid about it, and he thinks that all these people are taking pictures of him to like be like, here's this woman beater. Check him out.
Maybe they fucking
Yeah, and good.
right?
Exactly.
So in Orange County, Chris Brown experienced another club-related altercation. Maybe he should just stay the fuck home by himself.
Yeah, don't go to the club.
So a woman named Deanna Gines was in the VIP section with Chris Brown at a place called the Heat Ultra Lounge in Anaheim. It's a disgusting name for a place. Heat Ultra Lounge.
Yuck.
Well, he had just performed there. And when the bar was about to close, she claims that Chris just shoved her to the ground. Like, just get the fuck out of my way. And as she tells the story, that the shove was very deliberate, and she fell really hard onto her knee. And she reported to have to go to the doctor. And they told her that she would need surgery from the incident that left her with torn ligaments in her right knee.
My God.
Like, just keep your fucking hands to yourself.
Right.
Stop touching everyone.
Yeah, it's really not that hard.
What are you, a petulant fucking 5-year-old? My 2-year-old has better manners than this asshole.
Yep.
So, poor Chris Brown's representative, her name is Nicole Perna, and I read so many quotes of these different news outlets contacting her for comment, and man, oh man, he better pay her a lot of fucking money because her job is just real fucking annoying.
Mm-hmm.
So she told TMZ, quote, "I am unaware of the incident, as is Chris's lawyer and his entire team. He was in a great mood after Powerhouse. None of this makes sense. I'm sorry. Is there something that happens when he's not in a great mood that you're aware of?
Right.
Okay, so during a video shoot in Colorado, outside Platinum 84 Gentlemen's Club in Denver, Chris Brown, French Montana, and Fetty Wap, which I can't say any of these names without having a stupid smile on my face. French Montana and Fetty Wap. Why is that? It's okay. They were shooting a music video, and a woman who was not a part of the production claims that she was forcibly thrown from Chris Brown's bus after refusing to give up her cell phone.
Oh my God.
There was
why was she in the bus?
I don't know. They don't really get into it. Like she wasn't working there. I guess she was just a part of the ride or the fun, whatever the fun was.
Okay.
So there was a strict no cell phone rule, and because no one wanted video or photos secretly shot, the woman also claims her phone was broken, and she filed a report for third-degree assault against them for how they threw her off of that bus.
Oh my God. What a baby.
He really is a big baby.
Yep.
So Brown avoided charges after another woman accused him of punching her in the face and taking her phone in a Las Vegas nightclub.
God.
You would think that he needs some handlers to be like, stop going out.
Right.
And stop looking at people with their cell phones.
Right.
So Lizaine Gutierrez claimed that she had been trying to take a photo with Brown during a private party before the assault occurred. Again, his poor publicist was contacted, and she said that it was unequivocally untrue. I feel like that's double negatives and doesn't make sense. It should be unequivocally
true,
unequivocally true, or equivocally untrue. Unequivocally untrue, she said.
You know what? Now I don't know what's right.
I don't either. And she claims that girl was crazy and she was yelling and she threw her purse at someone and that's why they threw her out. That none of the picture things.
Chris Brown was not involved whatsoever.
Yeah, bullshit. Yeah. Both things can be true.
She
can also be crazy and he can also have fucking smushed her.
She also just decided to like throw in Chris Brown into this story. Like for what purpose would that have?
Yeah, 100%. So here's the most. This one levels up. He levels up from the cell phones and the nightclubs.
Okay.
I remember when this happened. I forgot this happened because there's this weird Chris Brown amnesia that happens to people. But Chris Brown was actually detained by the LAPD following a 14-hour standoff with the cops at his house. Do you fucking remember this?
No.
Oh,
14-hour standoff.
14-hour standoff. So a model named Bailey Curran told the LA Times that Brown pointed a gun at her face. She said Brown and another man became angry with her when she admired the man's diamond necklace. Curran said that she and her friend ran outside as one of Brown's associates chased after them, and these two girls hid under a neighbor's car. That's how fucking afraid they were. So during the standoff, Brown posted several photos and videos to Instagram. This is what I remember. Those videos on Instagram. And they were asserting his innocence as the police waited outside after being told that they needed a search warrant before they could enter his house.
So he's just going on Instagram like...
going nuts. I
didn't do anything. And there's just cops outside.
Cops are outside of his house. Okay?
What the hell? Yeah.
In the video he posted on Instagram, he said, quote, "Y'all gonna stop playing with me like I'm a villain out here, like I'm going crazy," while he's waving a cigarette around and looking into the camera.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, when you get the warrant or whatever you need to do, you're going to walk right up here and you're going to see nothing, you idiots. Now, this is just one. That's a quote from one of the videos. There are multiple videos.
Right.
And they've all since been deleted, obviously. That poor woman, Nicole Perna, was probably like, ah.
He's the worst. He's
sucks. The worst. Yeah, there's this strange amnesia that happens that because of whatever his talent is, he keeps continuing to put music out, and we're just like, I really like that song. I'm going to forget the things that he's done. And it's not okay.
No,
I
it's
do
not.
not listen to any Chris Brown music, though I like all of his music, especially from before all of this, that I was a fan of his.
Right.
I'm not going to fucking download any of his albums and give him a fucking ounce of money or anything.
No. I think, didn't Little Dicky put out a song, Little Dicky, about like I
Lil
woke up as
Dicky,
Chris Brown.
Michael loves Lil Dicky.
I love
don't
Lil
know.
Dicky too, but I think he put out a song like I woke up as Chris Brown, and I wanted to like it because it's funny, but at the same time I'm like, no, I don't want to. I don't like this at all.
Yeah, it's
this
not
guy's
appropriate.
a dick.
Right.
He's just not a good person. So I just
And he's a horrible person. And there's so many celebrities that get like blacklisted and nailed to the floor for things that they're doing.
yeah. And this kid somehow avoids
And
all
somehow
of that.
he's evaded that. Yeah. Like we did a story about Mel Gibson, and he was that Christ movie is a Mel Gibson movie, not a Bruce Willis movie.
Yeah, I didn't think Bruce Willis.
Yeah,
he doesn't look like Jesus.
No,
Jesus
Mel Gibson wasn't Jesus though. He was just a producer of the movie. But we did a story on him earlier in this series, and he's like a racist asshole.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Mel Gibson,
and he is another one who seems to keep evading like serious repercussions.
Yeah, I mean, I also feel like maybe not. I feel like Mel Gibson. I don't know. Maybe you're right. Not enough ramifications for sure that they've done.
Sure.
But Chris Brown, for some reason, has like people just
like
don't
in
care.
your face. This is a
what's
picture
weird
of another celebrity that he beat the shit out of.
That's what I was going to say. Is you think that it would, because it was Rihanna, would have impacted him more because she's so beloved, in terms of her music and just everything. You think that it would have lasted longer, but for some reason it didn't. I don't know why.
Well, and there's this weird thing that happened at one point where she kind of like got back together with him, supposedly, quote unquote. Who fucking knows what we actually know? That was brought up a couple of times, and like almost like her forgiveness of him rehabbed him in some way from that image, which to me it's just more battered woman syndrome.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
But then you read these things and you're like, oh, this is just who he is. He's just always like this with everyone. It doesn't matter what the scenario is, whether you're Rihanna or you're some random fan. So many of us have been left wondering, how does someone with such a long history of violence towards women continue to evade serious repercussions from both the legal system, the music industry, and his fan base? That's the part that fascinates me. In reading all of this,
he still has fans.
They're defending him. One literally said, like, oh, he paid for what he did to Rihanna. Oh, yeah? How? How did he pay for that? I was fucking flabbergasted when I was reading these things. And they're women who are writing this, and they're just writing it all off. So on one hand, like other rich and powerful people, Brown's benefits of expensive legal representation and a crisis management team and influential allies have helped him to evade, being
because he wasn't shunned by everyone in the entertainment industry, so it's passable.
Right, a celebrity is like a particular rich type of person, and there are other celebrities that are going to like take up for him, which is infuriating.
Yep.
And while there is a thirst to see the rich and famous punished for their crimes, not all celebrities are treated equally. So yeah, he's still out there doing whatever he's doing. To this day, he's still the highest grossing African-American touring musical artist.
That sucks.
He still tours and he still does all these things.
Yeah, that's infuriating.
Yeah.
I will say that if you like Chris Brown, just listen to Jason Derulo instead.
Jason Derulo.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's fucking great. I hope he's not a garbage person too.
Yeah, I guess that's true. But for as far as I know, Jason Derulo is the nice Chris Brown.
So, to end on a lighter note, despite everything, Rihanna is the world's wealthiest female musician. Do you know that she hit that
Good for her.
Title?
I believe it because, I could name like 40 Rihanna songs that are like top
she built
one.
a fucking empire.
Yeah.
She's got this Fenty line, which is lingerie, makeup, and now hair extensions and hair pieces.
Yeah.
She has a beautiful son with A$AP Rocky, who's like, I mean, I saw him on what's the ridiculousness with Rob Dyrdek.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I just loved him, and that was years before Rihanna and him ever got together. I was like, I don't even know who the fuck this is. Why is there a $sign in your name? Like, you're a tool. But then he got up there and he was talking, and I was like, he's adorable, and he has the best personality.
Great.
And they seem to be in like a loving, healthy relationship. They're still going strong. The picture I'm going to put on the album cover is from like 2 days ago.
That's awesome.
So, thank God she got away from the dumpster fire that is Chris Brown and his abusive bullshit, because he could have held her back. He could have fucking killed her, and we wouldn't have Queen Riri out in the world right now doing incredible things.
Yeah, I think we should just refer to Chris Brown as like stupid sea sizzle instead.
Dumpster fire, sea sizzle?
Sea sizzle in a dumpster. Let's call him that.
Okay, deal.
Great. This episode should be called Fuck Sea Sizzle.
No one would listen to it because they would have no idea what
like, who's that?
About.
You'd be like, well, good.
Well, good. Well, that is the story of the unraveling of Rihanna and dumpster sea sizzle.
Yes, good. Yeah, he just sucks. There's nothing about, it's unfortunate. There's a lawyer.
He should be in fucking prison.
Yeah, he really should be. 100%. And hated by everyone. And it sucks that he's not.
If he was a regular person, he would be in fucking prison. Yeah. That's it. That's the end of the story. And that's where he fucking deserves to be, regardless of how much money he has or what he does with his leggies or his voice or whatever. He should be in fucking prison.
Totally. I agree. I think everyone agrees.
Bastards. And he's someone's father. He has kids.
That sucks.
It's very scary. It's very fucking scary.
Yeah, you don't know what he's still doing that's not being told or caught. Listen, so it's just...
This is who he is.
Mm-hmm. He's shown on multiple occasions that that's how he reacts to things. Mm-hmm. So
straight to hands.
Yeah, that's not okay.
Not okay.
There's an attorney down the block from me that's Chris Brown, DUI attorney. And I just think, like, you got to change your name. Like, you got to change your branding. Because anyone who's our age, or I guess younger, or maybe even a little older, would be like, nah.
Nah, are you an asshole?
I just don't like Chris Brown, so I'm not going to go to this Chris Brown either.
And for everyone out in the universe, Jason does marketing, so he knows, like, hey, you should probably not have the same name as a, like, convicted.
Right. I'm going to go into his office and just be like, listen, we're going to do a rebranding. You're going to be Sea Sizzle Attorneys at law. It wasn't used. It's free for use. Trust me.
Oh, I'm going to help you.
Yeah. This is it.
Oh, you're a fucking genius. So Jason actually is the genius behind our website. If you've checked that out, if you need any marketing, you can head over to
limitbreakdigital.com. Wow, I wasn't expecting a plug.
Oh, plug away, my brother.
Thanks. Yeah.
He does really incredible work. So yeah, if you want some references, go take a look at our freaking website. And I'm sure there's plenty more on his website. But he's one of the most talented people I've ever met in my life. It's kind of infuriating. He could do almost anything he puts his mind to.
Except Chris Brown leggy movements.
I mean, that's okay. We'll forgive you for that.
Son of a bitch. But thank you. That's very kind. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. I love you so much. Thank you for doing this with me. This was fun.
This was awesome. Thank you for having me.
I'm sure we'll have you back again next time Justin needs to go away somewhere.
Sounds great.
All right, let's do the rollout of that outro. Putting you right in Justin's shoes.
I'm not ready.
That's okay.
I don't know where my screen went. Oh, yeah. Okay. That's helpful. Dun, dun, dun. Okay. When you look back at history of the creative arts, it takes a lot of darkness to create the light the arts bring to the world.
Thanks for joining us this week. And if you enjoyed our conversation, please subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts and head on over to Apple Podcasts to rate and review.
Please check out our sources listed in the episode notes. They are awesome.
You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and crimeoftheartspodcast.com.
We're looking forward to having you back next week. And by we, I mean Lisa and Justin, because I won't be there. Until next time, peace out, everyone.
Peace out, everybody. Because I won't be there.
Nope.